Hello, good morning, everybody. Today is a good day, and I am going to do a presentation on a continuous ambient air quality monitoring station monitored at GVM Corporation, Visakhapatnam. Before telling a detail into the continuous ambient air quality monitoring study, which I have done, I would like to just give an insight into what's available with the Central Pollution Control Board website. These data are all taken from the Central Control Board's website, and data analytics have been done, which is missing in the country for a quite long time. I want the regulators, the younger minds, the NGOs, the interested environmentalists to look into this a little serious, to understand the underlying available solutions and which is not tapped and not energized. This is my purpose of my video. Okay, it is not a complaining attitude, but it is an attitude to bring in awareness and also complementary study to the country to say where this continuous ambient air quality monitoring stations are lying today in this country. The country is monitoring about 558 continuous ambient air quality monitoring, in which the country has already declared 131 cities as non-attainment cities under National Clean Air Program. The country is also monitoring around 804 manual monitoring stations conveying 334 cities or towns and 28 states and union territories of the country. So this is the given background. So a little insight about what is manual monitoring and continuous ambient air quality monitoring. Manual monitoring is a monitoring that is done through a NAM program or a National Ambient Air Monitoring Program, wherein 2 data are collected per week. That is the frequency of the data. 24 hours data, 2 data per week, and 104 samples per annum is the totality of the data availability for taking for analysis and taking action as non-attainment cities with 5 years data. This is what's happening in the country today. There are about 558 continuous ambient air quality monitoring stations. A simple comparison. A continuous ambient air quality monitoring station samples about 15 minutes per data. Sorry to interrupt. I would like to give some more information on this. So I'll just take a little bit of a time to just take that information out. Okay. To come back to this continuous ambient air quality monitoring station in the country, the continuous ambient air quality monitoring samples at a rate of 15 minutes per data, 24 hours all days for 365 days, and data availability requirement is 95%. And now we will clearly understand the strength of the continuous ambient air quality monitoring data is around 1,440 data per day and 43,200 data per month and 5,18,400 data per annum. Where is 104 samples per annum and 5 lakh data per annum? And we are underutilizing this data, and we are just using this continuous ambient air quality data for just air quality index publishing every day in the newspapers and in the websites. No further detailed analysis have been done, nor published, nor awareness created. Here is an attempt made by me. Who am I? I am Dhanashekaran, a retired deputy director from Tamil Nadu Pollution Control Board, who initiated in 2010 an innovative idea of online monitoring in the country at a center called CAAQMS Center in Tamil Nadu Pollution Control Board. So after my retirement, I would like to extend my knowledge and services, what I have done for this 36 years, to the younger generation and to the enthusiastic, environmental enthusiastic, as what we are, where we are. And I have taken one such study. I will be doing more such studies and publishing. But here is an um, entry into what is happening in Visakhapatnam. I am also a director of my own concern called Words Eco Entrepreneurs Private Limited at Sriperumbudur. Here we go with the presentation. So the location of the monitoring station is GVM Corporation Visakhapatnam, and the period of our sampling is Jan to August 2023, and each data is about 30 minutes is taken for analysis. So this is the National Ambient Air Quality Standards published by Central Pollution Control Board on 18th November 2009. Everyone knows this about this time-weighted average 24-hour standards. There's nothing much to talk here. But what is my emphasis is here. This is what is not looked into any state nor center nor any regulator on daily basis, which should have been done. The red mark, which I have given here, says very clearly 24 hours or 8 hourly or 1 hourly monitored values as applicable shall be complied with 98% of the time. They may exceed the limits, but not on 2 consecutive days of monitoring. But in my study, most of the monitoring, continuous ambient air quality monitoring stations have shown that PM10 and PM2 value have exceeded nearly up to 27 to 28 days in a month. You see the non-compliance level there. So this is monthly exceedance of the data at Visakhapatnam. You see, from Jan to August, there are about nearly in Jan, there's already 30 days of exceedance. And the predominant wind direction, it is to show from where it came, 256 degrees. And the affected direction is 76. I will more show the directional details a little later. But this is a slide to show an insight that nearly all months, this 8-month study, exceedance has occurred with respect to PM10 at Visakhapatnam station. And this is a time series data to give you at an on-site show what is the exceedance level from January till August 2023. This is clearly showing that how many days it has exceeded the standard of 100 microgram per meter cube, the rolling average of 100 microgram per meter cube. So this is again that standard and exceedances. And with respect to wind direction, as it said, some people will not understand what is a degree and all. So it is all came from west, southwest, west of southwest, and the affected direction are east, northeast, and east of northeast mostly from January to April. And later on, it slightly turned from southeast to northwest, west to east, west of southwest to east of northwest, and south of southeast to north of northwest. And this is the predominant wind direction, or from the direction from which the pollution came, and the affected direction, the direction in which it got affected. So this information is a very vital information to show that these exceedance days, the community living in this downwind direction have got affected by these high concentration levels of PM10. So I give you one answer here as these data can be evolved to show not only exceedances, but from where it came, which direction it came, and which direction it went and got affected. This is the PM2.5 24 hours rolling average exceedances. This shows completely in the month of Jan, Feb, and March, it has exceeded the standards. These are all the exceedance values and standards, which you can take your time to look into and understand. In January, it's 28, February, 21 days, March, 14 days, April, 9 days, and so on. The Nitrogen and its oxides, nitrogen dioxides, 24 hours rolling average of 80 microgram is in compliance for the study period. The SO2 is also complying to the standards of 80 microgram per meter cube for the study period. The ammonia is also complying to the National Ambient Air Quality Standards for the study period. Look into the CO 1 hour rolling average standard of 4 milligram per meter cube. It is exceeding. See what here, no, most of the regulators, they don't have even the time to look into what is 1 hour standard and 8 hour standard. They don't even know it by verbatim. They have to look into the standards and say it is 4 milligram and 2 milligram. That is the time in which they are working. And moreover, they don't have staff, enough staff or trained staff to understand to do this type of analysis. I feel that today's evolving world, trending data analytics science must be inculcated into the culture of the pollution control board regulators so that they take this a little bit as a serious business to understand what's the problem, where is the problem, and which parameter is the problem. The 8-hour rolling averages of 2 milligram per meter cube has also exceeded the standards. The ozone, 1 hour level, not much. It is all complying within the standards. 8-hour rolling average of ozone, yes, complying within the standards of 100 milligram per 100 microgram per meter cube. This is a monthly diurnal plot of PM10. See, you see two peaks. There is a dip also at a time, and there is an increased peak at one time. So, what does it increase? Says mean that there is in early morning hours, there is a pollution increase, and there is a dip by 15 hours, and again there is an increase by 21 hours. And this is happening from Jan, Feb, March, and it is slightly changing towards July. Otherwise, the pattern remains to be the same daily. This is a comparison of PM 2.5, CO, and NO in a diurnal variation plot using standard scaling method, where in which you see there is a pattern happening around. And there is a little bit of coherence between CO and NO. Why I have taken CO and NO means CO and NO are all combustion outlets of vehicular pollution. So, and this is a human activity pollution because of this double peaks. I'm very clearly understanding that there is a peak happening at a morning hours, 7 to 8 hours, 7 to 8 in the morning hours, and then at 21 hours. So this shows that it is purely a human activity is the cause for PM10 and PM2.5 contribution. What might be an attributing factor is CO and NO mean it is vehicular is the cause. So that's the way the study has been done. So a root cause analysis study has been done. Similarly, a detailed study with respect to PM10, CO, and NO and comparison has been showed here. And also, this also shows predominantly vehicular pollution is the cause for the pollution. And this is a pollution rose. This shows from which direction the pollution predominantly happened. And it's very clearly saying it is southwest, each monthly southwest, west, everywhere only. From these direction only, the pollution has been attributed to this monitoring location. The same way PM 2.5 also talks about. This is respect with PM10, CO, and SO2. See here, this SO2 comparison is done to know whether there is an industrial participation in this PM2, PM10, and PM2.5 to contribution. It was found to be very minimal, and the correlation studies shows that SO2 has a little minimal part in contributing to PM2, which I will show in my later slides. This is another study called percentile rows, whether 99% of the time from which direction pollution has happened, 75% of the time from which direction, 50% percentile of the time from which direction the particulate matter has been contributed. This is a windrows, exactly to know from which direction and at which speed this wind has blown. This is a correlation heat map which clearly talks about the correlation between um, the PM and NO and CO more predominantly than SO2. So I just want to sum the whole thing to say that this continuous ambient air quality monitoring station at Visakhapatnam has a higher attribution of PM10 and PM2 2.5 exceedance and CO 1R and 8R exceedance. So this has been combined with a parameter of NO to know whether this has been vehicular. The study and correlation heat map shows partially it is vehicular. There will be other attributes like resuspended ducts, construction activities also contributing to this PM10 from the direction and to the downwind direction where it has got affected. So this is a little summation of or how a continuous ambient air quality monitoring station should be really looked at. It should be never looked at because the investment cost of a continuous monitoring station is 1.25 crores and you are just using for an air quality index is just not acceptable. And then there is a recurring cost of monthly operational maintenance cost of 3 to 5 lakhs. You see, this much of cost has been involved to get an accurate result for such a larger volume. We should have taken this more in a higher standard of looking into and the outlet from these continuous ambient air quality monitoring station. Secondly, the purpose. See, this location of the monitoring station at GVM Corporation must have been a purpose for which it has to be established. Say, for an industrial association as a downwind and all. Is this really representative? Is the industrial downwind or the really downwind direction is the public? Is the regulator to go and inspect and understand whether this study is shown that the location of the sampling is a representative data or not. Thirdly, Visakhapatnam, after the LG polymer incident, I do understand it very clearly. It is an organochemical belt with pharmaceutical industries. The parameters monitored are all inorganic in nature. PM10, PM2.5, NO2, SO2, and just national ambient air quality monitors. The pollutants of interest are more like total reduced sulfur, mercaptans, organic sulfides, like vinyl chloride monomers, like styrenes in case of LG polymers. So we need a TOC analyzer or a VOC analyzer, total volatile organic analyzers, to be installed in these stations. Non-methane and methylated analyzers, total organic carbon analyzers to be installed in these stations to have an information to show that this much of organic chemicals have been attributed to the living population and which are all having carcinogenic, highly potential to affect the population at low concentrations. Since we don't have renowned standards for it, this is not really taken in a serious look. I really insist that the regulators must look into these parameters and installed at these type of monitoring stations where the regulators, central pollution control boards and government bodies are monitoring in the country, which will be more of a representative data rather than just a monitoring data for to meeting the national ambient air quality standards. Thank you.